What is going on, guys? My name is Feeds, and welcome to Feeds Mindset, episode 6 with the man Frosty. Man, Frosty, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. Tired of shit, but nothing new.
Yeah, you've definitely been busy for the past couple weeks. It's been crazy. I'm very proud of you, proud of your success. And you recently had your birthday. I actually just watched the video not too long ago about your little birthday video that you made, and it was so humbling, just to see the community that you built around you.
Yeah, man. The the community over the last month has kind of been something brand new. It's definitely been a new experience for me. We come through the same background. It's been a very cutthroat community where you really have to hit something special or do something completely out of the loop to even really be noticed. And just being noticed for the personality that you carry and the kind of shit that you put out on a daily basis. It's a completely new experience. So I think the community has definitely been a huge benefactor in the last month.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, I fully agree. And I think, fast forward back, we've known each other, pretty long. I've known you quite a bit longer than most of my normal friends on here, well over 2 years at least.
Hmm.
And we had went for our first connection was obviously the Obey recruitment challenge that we had both went for. And a lot of us, and I don't really keep tabs with hardly any of them. Most of them has just kind of done their own thing. But for whatever reason, me and you just kind of stayed connected throughout the years. And then, we were in a couple teams together and stuff. But my first impression of you was just insane because, you was a very abnormal graphic designer going into people's streams, getting an idea of their favorite colors and things that kind of motivated them and their current goals and things that they were going to. And you would use that into your designs. And even, something just simple as the Obey, you went, everybody that was grinding for Obey, you went into like hundreds. Like, I'm not even joking when I say that, hundreds of people making emotes for them. It's little things, but it made a huge difference and made such a big impact and provided so much happiness to people. I mean, what made you even want to do that? Why did you just go on Twitter one day and I'd be like, you know what, I'm Frosty Designs, this is who I am, I'm going to go and I'm going to make these creators happy?
It's I honestly have no idea how that idea even popped in my head. I was kind of doing stuff for a little bit. I joined a team originally that kind of like made my mark in the comm, and I made like my first like two or three connections with people in the comm. But the Obey RC was really what launched me as like an official slot in the comm. It really solidified my name. A lot of people got to know me through that. Some of the biggest names, the biggest friends I still have today, Rolly, Hoffy, like the big hitters in this comm. I made my best connection with that. Um, the whole idea basically started. I was hopping way back in JPlex's and Mephi streams, and I think I made JPlex a custom emote or something like that. And I just wanted to make him something. I was like, yeah, I've been making emotes for a month or so. My quality is good enough to drop something in an Obey member's stream. That would be
Yeah.
like, and yeah, it got some traction. I honestly have no idea how the idea first started, but I mean, I'm not complaining. I still do custom emotes to this day. I've been doing it for Respawn recruits. I did it for the Northern Forces RC. Like I keep doing it. My quality keeps getting better. I've done animated emotes for streamers. Like I'm never slowing down. My originality has always been my best asset to me as a creator, and I feel like it's only been been a benefit for as long as I've been doing it. So.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I would fully agree. I mean, your creativity, man, is mind blowing. And this isn't even just me like trying to give you like to make you feel better. Or, like genuinely, like I've seen so much creativityness out of you, and you've expanded so much farther than you was already unique enough doing the emotes and your designing and stuff, and then you took your personality out of it and into your own content aside from all of that and evolved it way much more than what it was, which was just like it was just brilliant to see because you started learning that your designs are connections, and if you're going to connect with these people you have to put yourself into it because yeah, the emotes were sick and everything, but at the end of the day you realized you finally want these people that say that you're cool and that they're so appreciative of it, you wanted to offer them who actually is Frosty and have that extra connection rather than just the emo guy. and you turn that around so much, and you've done so much with your content and with all your streams and with all your graphic designing, and even fast forward now, obviously Respawn Recruits. I mean, you're fucking killing it. You're a big, from what I've seen, you're a big creator that a lot of people are kind of a bit like, scary from. Like, is he going to take my spot? Like, is it going to be me or Frosty? Who's it going to be? And I know that we hate wording it like that because we're all in it for the same thing. But at the end of the day, this whole platform is a competition. And, at the end of the day, it's just all about who's more serious and who's more genuine. But it's just like the podcast I did with Frostii yesterday. It applies to everything. You're humble when it's to yourself, but when it involves other people, if you continue to have that same humbleness, you will succeed better when people see that not only are you in it for self, but you give the same amount of energy when you don't progress from it.
Yeah. I feel like my biggest tool that I've probably done better than almost everyone, and like we're going back as far as the Obey RC. Every RC I've been in since then, every team I've been in, my standout asset has not even really been my originality, but it's been my ability to network. Um, I I don't think anyone really taps in the way that I do with everyone. A lot of people will like everyone's posts, maybe throw a retweet or a comment now and there. Like, while I'm sitting at my PC editing for 8-10 hours a night every single night, I'm throwing all of the other Respawn Recruits videos up. I'm dropping comments. I'm making sure that they're getting the support that I would want from all of the Respawn Recruits. I'm confident saying out of the 250 remaining, I've tapped in with at least 150 of them. I'm following every single remaining recruit on Twitter. Subscribed to well over half of them on YouTube. I tap into their live streams. First thing I do when I get home from work every night is spend an hour and a half every night tabbing up everyone that's live on my live list on Kick and Twitter or on Kick and Twitch, and I'm just making sure everyone's getting the love that I feel they deserve, because in the end, like, especially in a community like Respawn Recruits, the genuine creators are always going to want to show love back. You know what I mean? And that's what happened with the Obey RC. Like, yeah, I was making custom emotes for people, but when it came down to it, it was the fact that I was doing something original and I didn't just drop an emote, say what's up, get my content from you, and then dipped. Like, I stayed there for like 20-30 minutes with every single creator, and I would follow someone and I would be back the next day, and I would tab up all the people that I just hit yesterday, and then I would do another 30 people the next day. Like, my list just kept getting bigger. I didn't replace 30 people with the 30 people from yesterday. I added another 30 people on to support. So
yeah, and I think one of the definite most things that I'm intrigued about you. I mean, obviously, my podcast just feeds mindset. It's about my takes and my views and stuff that I see about just the community itself. And I'm my biggest thing about me is I just don't complain and I get things done. And I think that is the biggest thing that I see out of you and that I appreciate and respect out of you is the fact that you're exactly you're a creator that everybody wants to be. You're super even on all sides. You're super respectful, and you really tap into a ton of people, all while it's doing your own work, which is something everybody says that they want to do, but hardly nobody does it. And what I'm getting at is that the biggest thing that I respect out of you is you don't complain about it. You're not like, oh, I have so much to do. You just complain about I'm tired and that it's going to be a long day. You don't complain that I have so many streams to tap into. I have all these edits to do. You don't complain about all that. You say that all that's coming up, but it's not a complaint. It's just reminding yourself these are the tasks that I have doing because I have so much. So I think anybody that you support and anybody even that's watching this podcast right now, if you're somebody that Frostii has supported, you need to open your eyes and understand who's supporting you, because people like this are like-minded people that you want to succeed with. And if you miss that, that's on you.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, like, most days I just don't have a scheduled tweet out. So when I'm putting out, oh damn, hey, all this shit is coming tomorrow. It's like I didn't have time to write it on one of my note cards. You know what I mean? So I have to write it on Twitter that day. So I remind myself what I had to do. It's not like, hey, make sure you're watching for this and this and that. Like, when it comes down to it, I don't care if you watch my shit, because in the most respectful way possible, someone else is going to that actually cares. So I'm not begging for your view. I'm not begging for your like. because to be blunt and brutally honest, I have people that I've built around myself that I know are going to support whatever I put out at this point, even before Respawn recruits.
Yeah.
Like there are people, no matter like how long I've been tapped in with them, the longer that I've been tapped in with someone, the more they realize that whatever they put out, I'm going to be supporting it. I'm one of those people that if they put something out and I know they can take it, I'm going to be brutally honest and shit on your video. There are, I would say, well over 50 creators that hit my DMs and say, "Can you watch this and let me know what you think?" And like, I'm blunt. The second that I even look at the video, I'm like, that thumbnail's dog shit. And
Mhm.
like, I don't just tell them what's wrong. Like, I don't just tell them it's horrible, but I tell them what's wrong with it. I've had the 7+ years experience as a graphic designer at this point, and coming up on 3-4 years as a serious editor and editing for all these clients, like working with people like I'm gonna name drop, working with people with like Goofy, who have been doing this for so long, media management and editing, and people who have that want and that drive to learn something new every single day and apply it in everything that you put out, every single video. It's it's a humbling experience, because if you just surround yourself by people that gas you up every single day and make you believe like you're the best version of yourself, then I would never have that want to grow. So I surround myself with people who are going to shit on my content, no matter how much I'm improving every single video and how good I'm getting at my craft. I could be sitting at like 10 million subscribers, putting out the best quality videos that this com has ever seen, and I won't believe it's good enough, because if I believe it's good enough, then I won't want to grow anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, most definitely. And I feel like there's a lot of people that's scared to have that mindset. I feel like there's a lot of people that's like, I don't want to tell them no. Or there's some people that like I don't want to hear a no. Like, don't tell me that my content's bad. Tell me that I made a good video. And people like that are obviously the ones that have not gotten where they want to be, not like in a sense of like they're going to fail, but you're not succeeding with that mindset. So it's kind of it's I guess the best way to call it is tough love on yourself, because it may sound harsh, and to somebody saying that like, I don't really care that much about your view, and they're like, well, fuck off, I'm not going to support you. And it's like, well, I don't want you to, because if you're going to watch my video and you see something wrong with it and you click off of it because you're not interested and not tell me, then that's not support for me, because that's an error that I could have fixed making you watch my content better. And people just, they don't understand that. They get selfish and in their own ways, and they're like, well, hey, I checked your video out, it was great, go check mine out whenever you get some time. And it's that fake love, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants to surround themselves with fake people that realistically do care about you, but the moment it comes to them, they put them over you every time. And it's horrible,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you have to have like-minded creators.
I agree with that for sure. That's kind of how I maintain so many of my relationships is, if some people are going to ask for my advice, I don't really care if you have 6,000 followers on Twitter, which, looking at the grand scheme of things, isn't a big number, but considering our com, it's a pretty big number. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I don't care if you have 10,000 subs on YouTube, if you're partnered. Like, if you're coming to me and you ask for my advice because of my experience, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because I want your approval as a creator. You ask my advice because I assume you want to get better at your craft. Um, I come to people all the time because I want to get better at what I do. And every time I hear someone say, "Bro, that was fire," like, "Oh, that was so dope.
Mm-hmm.
That video is amazing." And I'm like, that's not why I came to you. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's fire. I know it's dope. I just spent the last 27 hours editing the video. Like, I need a fresh pair of eyes on this video that's not seeing it from raw footage to where it's at now, because I think it's perfect. But if I get a fresh pair of eyes like Goofy's on my video with someone who has as much experience as I do, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even more at this
Right.
point, because he's been growing so fast, then he can look at it, my final product of what I think looks perfect, and he can say, "Nah, dude, that's horrible," and he can tell me exactly like what needs to be done. He has the perfect vision of, I think if you added 10% more of this, I think it would look really good, and like he can just see that, and the creators like that just don't exist anymore.
Yeah. And
So
I definitely think, the way that I perceive it is there's a lot of people that treat. There's a lot of people that treat them being a creator, and they don't treat it as a job. They treat it as them having fun with their content and stuff, but they perceive it and do everything to where they're trying to make it become a job. And so it makes it difficult because when you're asking somebody for their approval or for their things and they're like, oh, like, yeah, it's good or whatever, you're technically you're affecting that lifestyle because, if you have 5 people that all 5 see mistakes out of your video, but they all tell you that it's good because they're trying to be your friend, that's not going to help you, do better at your job and to be able to help you and stuff. And I feel like people mislead when somebody reaches out and be like, "Yo, can you check this out?" Like a lot of people's like, everybody thinks, "Yo, can you support this?" And I think that's what I'm saying. That's the different thing about you is because you're the unique creator that's actually being like, "Yo, can you watch this and tell me what's wrong?" Not support it and give me a like. I want you to tell me what you see. And there's so many people that perceive that the wrong way, and I feel like that is a huge red flag in our community that we're in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the kind of like the ugly duckling of the group where so many large creators are like out of my following list, I probably have, a lot of people that if they got followed by them on Twitter would be like, "Oh my god, so and so just followed me." And like it's cool to see that on my following list, but at the same time, like they aren't following me because I dropped like $500 on them in stream.
Yeah.
They aren't following me because I'm their biggest supporter. Like I tap in to set everyone the same amount. I don't care what team you're in. If the conversation is genuine, I might be there more than like 10, 20 minutes. But
Right.
like I share the same amount of love with everyone because at the end of the day, I still have my own shit to get done. I ask the same thing out of the people that I know are gonna harshly critique my shit, and if someone posts something and they slide in my DMs, then I'm gonna be, critiquing everyone's shit the same way because I don't care about your status and what you think of me of your high status creatorship because at the end of the day I'm not in just your
Yeah.
like I'm in 20, 30, 40 different communities that your opinion of me is not going to affect me because I'll just go to my other 39 communities and build up 5 more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
um but the people that are following me, like they're there because one, I stay consistent. I'm not there because it's a popular thing to do. I've been following them since day one, and I've been supporting them every single day since I followed them. And I'll stay tapped in. I'm not just there in the streams throwing my money at you. I'm in DMs. When I see that something is going on stream, I'm immediately messaging you off stream to make sure that you're okay because I see you as a person and not just a creator. I'm not there because you're my entertainment. I'm there because I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like there's so many people if they would get it through their thick skull that they have friends, and there's just so many people that notice it at a terrible time, and by the time they're like, "Oh, you were actually trying to be my friend," they're already gone.
yeah, I'm
So
already
that's
moved
sad.
on.
But I think definitely for you, for anybody that's new to you, I mean, obviously there's a lot of in this current moment in time, all your respawn recruits, there's clearly vice versa, same ways there's people that are brand new to you, you're brand new to them and stuff. And I think it's a good thing for them to understand, if you're trying to support Frosty or get into him and stuff, that's definitely a good mindset to get an idea of what kind of creator you are, what your passion and what your goals are. But, I've enjoyed all the talk that we've had so far, but I do want to take a step back now. I want to understand, I know a decent bit about you, but obviously as far as our friendship goes, it was just back to Obey, which still was quite a couple of years ago. But I want to know where Frosty came from. How did Frosty even get into the gaming community? What made Frosty go from console playing some games to then want to start networking and get on social media?
So I've been creating content for probably about just coming up on probably a decade now. I've been I was streaming Call of Duty Ghosts when I was like 13. Um, and I would come home from school every day and I would be the most watched streamer. Like I most watched streamer on Twitch playing Ghost almost every single night. Just a 13-year-old sitting in one of those rolling gaming chairs. Like I would just
I
be
know what you're
sitting
talking
there and I
about.
would just be playing. Streaming from my console. I didn't have a PC until probably about like 4 years ago. Um, and yeah, like creating content, it was putting out a lot of raw clips and everything, and like I've been through multiple aliases, and instead of just changing my name on Twitter or YouTube, it's always been I'm gonna make a new account.
Mhm.
So, I've been partnered twice on Twitch already before,
Mhm.
or at least reached the status to where I could have been
Yeah.
partnered, but like I didn't understand the process of put in an application or whatever to even get affiliated,
Yeah.
let alone so like I wasn't getting subscribed to when I was sitting at like 140 viewers on Twitch at
Mhm.
13. I could have been doing that full time.
Yeah.
Um, but and like looking back at it now, I'm like, how was I able to capitalize on an audience like that? Literally just playing the game, not really even talking to chat,
Yeah.
just like reading a message and being like, "Oh yeah, that's cool, yeah, yeah," yeah. And the message is just flying by like this, all the shit that wish I had right now. But like, how was I able to do that at 13 and I'm not able to do it now? And I think that the simple answer is just like, there's way more avid and active creators that want this now than wanted it then. Um, but the simple answer, to how I got into networking and really got into a community, I've always been a solo creator. I've never really connected with any other creators until about 3 years ago when I was playing Cold War and I got into a random lobby with Ban or Jax, um, who isn't really part of the community anymore, but he used to be a pretty active member. Um, and he had a group or a team called the Shiesty Gang. And it really didn't take much deliberating. I got picked up almost immediately because I was sniping against him and his six stack, and um, I don't think I did phenomenal, but I went double positive, and you know I came from a camo grinding background community. That's what all my content revolved around. I was a world record holder in MW19 for the fastest time to get Damascus and stuff like that. So I was just camo grinding with the
Yeah.
sniper. I wasn't
I
going
mean,
for
you still kind
clips
of do that
because
now. Like when you play COD, you
I
still
do.
do camo ground.
I do. Yep. I'm still feel like I'm in the top percentile for the fastest times to get camos even today. Like as soon as a new one will hit or whatever, I'm always grinding it out. I make sure I have every camo by the time the game dies, even though I don't really play Call of Duty anymore even.
Yeah.
But um Jax got me in on the Shiesty Gang, and that's where I met Goofy. Stupid was in Shiesty Gang, just a couple people that are still around, and I moved up to management with Shiesty pretty quickly because I was so active with the group, and it did fizzle out. I was really new to the group content scene, and I can look back on what I did, and I can understand that I was probably a big reason that the group fizzled out. I was a reason that some people did leave, and it resulted in some bad blood. So it leaves a bitter taste in your mouth a little bit thinking
Yeah.
back to it. But I can admit where my faults were, and I know where my history lies, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now if Jax didn't bring me in on Shiesty Gang. So
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean it's always good learning from your mistakes, and I tell everybody that all the time. They'll be like, even like with job interviews, they're like, what mistakes have you made? And I'm like, I don't make mistakes because mistakes to me you're careless and you don't care about it. I mean I have learning experiences all the time, but a mistake to me, I mean if I had known better, I wouldn't have done it that way. So I never perceive things as mistakes. That's just the way that I've always been. But that's cool. I'm really glad that the Shiesty Gang kind of highlighted your potential career to be able to get some type of start where you was before and now actually getting into the com. So where did Frosty come from? Where was Frosty at in this whole mix? How did that come to be?
man, I've been under probably 20 aliases since I started making content. I started off with Sauce because that's what my nickname was in high school. Because my last name, everyone pronounced it wrong, and everyone would just call me Big Sauce, and my brother was Little Sauce. So
That's
that's
cool.
that's what we were called out on the field. So I just call myself the Sauce on Twitch, and that's kind of where a lot of the passion stemmed from. Is a lot of people wanted to see the Sauce go live every night after I got home from school and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But then I was Phantom for a while, and for a long while. I was Phantom for probably about 2 years, and I went under Fallacy Phantom. That was my team for about a year and a half, and that was just kind of like coming across random people in COD lobbies, and I was like, "Man, you're pretty good at the game. You want to be a part of my team?" You know, and like that's what Fallacy was. We didn't put out any content. We were just a bunch of people that were like, "Oh yeah, we have our name in front of each other. That's cool."
Yeah.
You know, we all had our numbers in each other's phones and stuff like that, and that was a strange time.
Yeah.
But we went under, I disbanded Fallacy. We went under Fate Eternal for 4, 5, 6 months, stuff like that. And like, I stuck with Phantom for a while. There were a lot of like 2 or 3 month periods where I would just like went under a random alias, and I
Yeah.
don't even remember them. But it was Sauce, it was Phantom, and then one day I was just like, man, Fate Phantom just sounds fucking weird. I need to change it up. And I was like, I like Frosty. And they were like, with 2 eyes? And I was like, yeah, with 2 eyes. It just feels right.
That's me.
And that's me.
So there wasn't nothing that made Frosty pop into your head. You just thought of the
There
word
was,
one day and thought it was cool.
oh man, like everyone kind of asked that, and I guess I was playing a lot of old school COD at the time,
Mm.
and I was every single day when I booted up the game, I was like Bravo 6 going dark and stay frosty, and I was like, all right, well
Oh,
that's it,
and
that's it.
that's cool though. Like imagine like, if you end up, later on down the road, you get where you want to be or you do like this big montage of where you came from and stuff. That'd be such a sick like start of the trailer. It's like probably six. Oh man, that'd be sick. That'd be crazy. So obviously, I'm very, happy to know about your background and stuff. I think it's very important for your community, my community, everybody to know where you came from. And it's such an awesome background and story that you have. But the last thing I wanted to ask about your background before kind of go into the current day, you know, the big tower you got behind you, G Fuel. You've been a part of G Fuel for however long that I can remember. You're still connected with them. Like how did G Fuel even come to be? Where did that even come to your lifestyle? Because now you are, the Tub Tower King. Like that's how people perceive you because you have it behind you all the time. You've done videos knocking it down. You've like put your face in the middle of your tower for like pictures, and it's so cool. But how did that come to be?
Man, G Fuel's been part of my branding for probably as long as I can remember. I don't remember even having a profile picture under the name Frosty other than my G Fuel branding. But I used to back when G Fuel first started, and that makes me sound old as shit. But back when G Fuel was
Back
like
in
first
my day.
established, yeah, for real. Um, when FaZe was first getting affiliated with them and stuff, like I was probably drinking G Fuel before FaZe even partnered with G
Really?
Fuel. Um, but there was probably a group of like 6 or 7 of us in my high school, and we used G Fuel as our pre-workout. We used G Fuel before we hit the football field. Like I I slaughtered kids on the field because I was just pumped up with energy, and I was like, all right,
I could see it.
I got my G Fuel. Y'all are done now. Like
Yeah.
it would be sitting on the sideline. I would have it on the bench, and like
It'd be like your secret weapon. You just like
it really was. Like I've been drinking G Fuel, dry scooping since before dry scooping was popular, and like it
Mhm.
was.
I would agree on that.
It's just I don't know. It's just there's been a bunch of different companies that have like approached me and like,
Mhm.
oh, do you like we would love to partner with you and this and that. I'm like, do you know what my branding is? Like, there's no way I'm taking anything but G Fuel. You are
Yeah.
tripping, and like,
Yeah.
but that's where it comes from, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's it's so cool to see. I mean, you have so many behind you. And I know for 1,000,000% that you have a lot more in the garage. And I'm sure you have so many more tubs just like thrown all around your house somewhere. I know that's not all it.
That's all of it. That's all of it. I put it all into the camera. I used to have a lot
Oh,
more, but
really?
when they expire, I do throw them away.
Okay. Because I was gonna say,
Because
because I remember you do having a lot more,
yeah,
beforehand.
I mean, I've split it over here a little bit, so the tower
Mhm.
isn't as big
Right.
anymore. But there's probably about 40 new flavors that dropped this year, but I'm only missing about the last time I did a tally check, I'm missing 92 flavors that are originally like original named.
Yeah.
Because some flavors there's like 7 flavors of strawberry banana, but they're all called something different. So
Right.
as far as original names, not including new tub arts and stuff, I'm missing 92 original flavors.
You have you're like You're like a old man with like a quarter collection, where you have like the quarters and they have all states, and you put the quarters in the slots and stuff. That's like
I
your G
yeah,
Fuel.
that's probably an accurate description.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. So yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's sick. I'm sure, man. If G Fuel ever watches this, man, like you have somebody so dedicated to your brand, like you need to find him, at least find him some missing pieces to his collection. That's the least that you could do. I mean, look at everything behind him.
I definitely have quite a few assets around in UK and some EU countries and stuff like that that are collectors like myself,
Mhm.
and they have double up tubs of some tubs that they're charging probably a little more than they should, but I
Right,
mean for a flavor that like Twisted Candy, for example, the Team
right.
Caliber flavor that dropped like 3 years ago and has been off the market for over a year and a half now. Like they're charging like $160 for a tub of it,
Yeesh.
but like never open. It's probably never gonna hit the market again. Something that's that rare, like okay, I'll drop 160 on your Twisted Candy. I'm
You're
like
dedicated. It's not an
just
addiction, it's
hold up.
dedication.
Right. But there's a bunch of other creators out there, or a bunch of other collectors out there like me that have double up tubs, and they know that there's more creators out there like me, so they save them for creators like me. Like they're like all the first question I'm asked when I approach people on Twitter almost every single time is like, do you actually collect G Fuel? And then I send them my tower, and they're like, okay, we'll talk.
Conversation
So
over. That's cool. Well, speaking of, all the creators that, you've connected with and stuff, I want to touch on that topic, of your background getting to this and the Shiesty Gang and all that. Is there any creators that really made their mark as an inspiration to you to want to keep growing and keep evolving? Who was your inspiration? And I mean, not even like local creators. I mean, it could be like big creators like PewDiePie, Markiplier, or, Jacksepticeye, whoever it may be. Like, who gives you that motivation to see them and you're like, there's no reason that I should stop now because I know I can get to where they're at?
the reason that I started content in the first place was probably like the Vanoss crew. So it's like, damn, I
Mhm.
really want something like that. And like even today, I'm always like looking for a group that is willing to tap in. Like all of them are
Yeah,
willing to so effortlessly. Like it's probably 90% of like comedic creators' goal is to get a group like
yeah.
that. But you know, ever since I got into Shiesty Gang, I like obviously Goofy's been with me like since then. Since Shiesty disbanded, Goofy and I have owned or led 3 different teams um, that have had varying levels of success. But as we've gotten more popular as creators, the most recent one being Allegiance, and you were a part of that as well.
Mhm.
And we were a success story. You know what I mean? Like in a month, we were able to do what
Most teams couldn't,
97,
yeah.
like we were one of the teams to join in a month. Like imagine if that could have stuck. That could have been something special for
Could have
sure.
been.
Um, but as far as people, Shiesty Gang was around right at the beginnings of Demon Season, before Demon Season formed. Um, Crispin Splurge were joining a tournament, and they needed 2 more people, and then MJ and Boost got picked up, and then Demon Season was born. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was kind of there and watching people like Splurge and Boost, and I feel like the ideal creator as far as like actual skill and talent being put into videos, edited and stuff like that. If your answer is anyone but Boost and Crisp right now, you're probably aren't tapped in with them as much as you should be, because the way that they edit their videos is unlike anyone else in this community. You sit in their stream and talk with them for like 10, 15 minutes even. Like they are very, very open about how much work they do, how much work they put in. And those are 2 of the only people that I can name drop right now that do as much, if not more work than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with that. I mean, I would be, a little bit hesitant on Boost, not like for anything that you said, but I haven't tapped into him as much as I should have. But definitely, Chris, I've tapped into him a ton. I always watch his streams, I always watch his videos. Boost, I definitely need to tap into a little bit more and stuff, when I have more time. But those are 100% undoubtedly wonderful, amazing creators that are just aspiring to so many, and it's so sick to see. So fast forwarding for all that now, you've had Frosty, the Shiesty Gang, all your supporters, even your G Fuel collection and them supporting behind you and leading up everything until the respawn recruits. Where where did that, where did respawn recruits come
Bro,
from to you want
I
to get
don't
into it?
know.
For you to
I
want
don't
to get
know.
into that. I mean, I feel like you've tackled something that you didn't know that you was going to get into, but I feel like you was prepared for it without even knowing how kind of big it's going to get, because I mean it's all over my fucking timeline. I mean it's no joke.
Yeah,
It's everywhere, and it's sick to see. Don't get me wrong. Anybody that's a part of this, you're fucking fantastic creators, and that's awesome to see. And I want my For You page to have more shit like that instead of all the damn news and shit that's going on. I don't give if I want to watch the news, I'd go sit down and watch Channel 27, but I'm not. So,
I
how
can
did you get into that? Like where did Respawn make you be like, okay, like let's tackle this and let's see where this goes?
I genuinely don't have an answer for that question. Like
Really?
I think the biggest thing is, I saw Terry, Scary Terry,
Mm-hmm.
be a part of Respawn Recruits last year. And I'm pretty sure Jay Plexity was part of Respawn Recruits last year, and I've been tapped in with them to where I knew it existed, but I didn't like Respawn went through a whole like fucking reset this year. I didn't even know Respawn was back, to be honest, because they went
Yeah.
under new ownership, new management,
Mm-hmm.
new leadership on socials, everything. They completely reset, and I didn't know they were looking for new partners because they let go like pretty much all of their partners but 10, and they've been picking up a few and everything. But Respawn Recruits, I guess I saw a post on the timeline. I honestly don't remember how I saw it, but I was in the Discord. Maybe I saw like the live ping saying Recruits is live or something like that. Um, and the list got put out. I was able to put my application in time, and there were two familiar names on that list when the list finally came out. I guess three. I knew Scary Terry, I knew Julia, Saint Julia, and I knew um, Savvy. And that's it. I
Yeah.
didn't know anyone else. And like
Yeah.
as I've come through it, there were a couple people that I did know, but I didn't recognize their name seeing it on paper and stuff. But you know, Kelly, who's a part of NorCal Rising, Kelly started a support group chat day one of the competition as soon as the lists were put out, and it was just there for like all of the recruits to kind of stay tapped in with each other. And I was one of the first 10 people that were a part of the group chat. I just commented on her post. It was like, yeah, hit me up, add me. I always want to be supporting everyone. And um 10 went to like 40 overnight, and then 40 we're sitting at over 150 people in that chat now of the remaining 250.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. And from there, the first 3 days, I kind of gathered who was actually supporting everyone, who were the most supportive people, who were the front runners. I kind of gathered intel on who's been doing this for the last 2 years, who are the people that I should be watching out for, who's the people that are smart to work with, who are the people that are smart to avoid, like. And from there I was like, I did what I knew I did best, and I formed a group.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and it seems to work out. It's like I said. I mean, again, it's all over my timeline, and I think that's the thing that makes me more appreciative of things like this, because most of the time when communities get together like this and we're all kind of fighting for the same thing, it's for teams. Just like me and you, like with Obey and just many other teams and stuff. There's hardly ever really like actual challenges like this that really comes around. That's actually genuine and offers a flexible opportunity for somebody, rather than just saying like, here's a coupon code. Like there's not a lot of companies like Respawn that'll do more for the creator if they deem that you're one of them or whatever. And
And
so
with Respawn Recruits, the community is something unlike anything. I've done RCs for years. Almost every RC that's happened for a team that is of some notable stature, I have been in the RC.
mm,
And like every RC for a team is so cutthroat, and there might be genuine interactions like I had with you and
mm,
like a few people that I still connect with, but when you're in an RC for a team, you want to be getting noticed the most. So like I
yeah,
don't see a lot of people like liking everyone else's posts in the RC because they want their post to be the most liked. You know, Respawn Recruits is fucking nuts. Like everything I post within minutes is sitting at like 20 likes because that
I
many
know.
people have me at like pin their noties on their timeline as soon as I post something. It's weird. It's really fucking weird because I don't know how to feel about it. Everyone has like the same mindset that I do right now. Like I'm gonna support you because I know you're gonna support me. It's not
Yeah.
I hope you're gonna support me. Everyone knows they're gonna support each other.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. That's such a sick thing because just like you was talking about, you was looking at the list and the top 250 and everybody that made it, and like obviously you found your name, and once your excitement was over and that you got in, then you started tapping in and like, okay, who's actually on this list now that I'm here? And not being able to notice hardly any names is to some people it could be a scary thing. But I feel like, for me and you, how we are, it's kind of an excitement because here are 250 deemed creators, just like I was saying, like minded people that want to grow and want to get their content. And this company that everybody's trying to fight for has all found them of some level of enhancement, respectness, energy, positiveness, skillfulness, whatever you got going on. And it's super sick to be able to have the mindset of wanting to support creators, and you literally get a ticket to freedom right in front of you, showing here are all these creators. You don't know none of them, and they're all just exactly like you and want to grow. And like, I know it sounds so simple and stupid, but you cannot find that anymore. It's always just a bunch of fake bitches that go in these recruitment challenges and they're like, yo, support for support. And then, they don't join and they're like, like, oh, like I joined, I'm sorry you didn't make it. And they're like, yeah, fuck off, blah, 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 or whatever. And like they flip the script and they post tweets saying quit, and it's like they completely give up. And that's kind of, the whole thing about my podcast. I feel like just there's so many people that forget where they're at, where they came from, and what they're trying to do. And so I want to remind people, especially of wonderful creators like yourself, just to keep going. If you ever at all have any doubts about yourself or whatever, for anybody that ends up being on this podcast in the future, not only, of course, do I appreciate your time, but I think that you are a genuine, solid creator that deserves to be heard and deserves to make it. And I just feel like if more creators would normalize that, this world would be so much of a better place.
100%. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of creators that just kind of like, oh, what's the way to put it without
Starting
being
drama.
without getting canceled? You know what I mean? Like, um, a lot of people are only in this for the money,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. Like I've been full time. I've done this full time. I did commissions full time for 2+ years. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like being full time, it is something to aspire to do. It's super dope to be able to sit at your computer for 20+ hours a day and say this is what I love to do and this is what I want to keep doing and stuff like that. But you know, some people are never going to get to that point for the simple fact that they don't apply themselves to like
Yeah.
anything. And when they see that you know I'm getting the numbers that I'm getting in respawn recruits, and I've started multiple trends already. I'll put out something just like, who are you vouching for going into top 200? I just put that out this morning, sitting at almost 100 likes already. And I've seen like 4, 5, 6, 7 other recruits post the same exact thing, and like all of them combined don't have my views on my post. And like, there has already been people in recruits, like when they get cut, they've name dropped me already saying, man, I stream 4 or 5 days a week while working 2 full-time jobs, and I put out 4, 5, 6 videos a week with TikToks and shorts and long form, and Frosty just posts on Twitter. How the fuck is he making it through to the next rounds, but I can't? And I'm like, bro, you don't want to do this. Like, I don't say anything. I just like the post and I say, I'm sorry you feel that way. And they have like 18 views on their post and 16 comments saying you might want to take this down. This is not a good
Yeah.
look on
And
you.
that's
Like,
another
people
thing
are just
too.
coming
I
up.
feel like that's such a big difference. People be like, "Yo, like Frosty, like he barely streams. Like he's not skillful. Like why are you choosing him?" And then you go and look at their Twitter pages, and it's, "Hey, I'm live. Hey, I'm live. Hey, I'm live. Hey, a video. Hey, I'm live." And you can clearly see that they don't really support people, and that's especially for a company because at the end of the day, like I said, anybody that's watching this, whether it's Respawn or whatever else you're going for, you're trying to make this into some type of job. Nobody wants to talk about money. Nobody wants to talk about all that stuff, but that's how the world is. And if a company that you are wanting to get things from, they have to know that they're getting the same thing back. And if you're only invested for yourself, then it's just like a job. How are you going to succeed and get raises and get promotions at your job if the promotion is not going to entail you making other people do better just like you are? And it's just the same rule applies. And like I said, just so many people forget it. So yeah, so I appreciate all your takes and all your advice and everything. And it's super sick to not only see the kind of creator you was before and let it come to light, but obviously I kind of get the unique, respectfulness to kind of watch it grow. And we've been a part of each other. I've known you for, like I said, well over 2-3 years, and it is insane the way that your story's evolved. And I'm so hyped to see what is in store. So before we end up and wrap things off here, is there anything upcoming you want to talk about? Any events that you have? Anything that you want to spoil? Talk about anything? Is there anything at all? What's going on for Frostii in the next couple weeks?
Man, I keep saying every week I got these videos coming out. Like I have two 12 terabyte storages full of videos that are ready to be put out and edited and everything. And like when it comes down to it, I'm working 6-7 days a week, so I could promise y'all that something's gonna come out now. And if I get called in the next 2, 3, 4 days, then then the videos ain't coming out. It's that simple, which is why I get so surprised when I see myself on the cut, because I haven't put out one long form video other than the podcast since Recruit started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff to come, man. Before Respawn Recruit started, there was a group that was getting formed of some of the best creators that I've experienced being a part with throughout the journey. Some big names and some massive teams, massive statures that have a really good grip on content. And there was going to be a collective formed. I'm not going to drop too much details on it, but we're going to be dropping content together. Stuff that's actual content, not what people consider content in our community. And that's going to be fun to see, because a bunch of experienced creators working together like that, there's going to be personality involved. It's going to be a comedic relief, and it's really got a Van Oss style touch to it, which is really dope. I'm excited to work with them. There's an org being formed. I'm not going to give anything else on that. But we have a good amount started. I always have something cooking. I've said it a million times, and it seems to be my mantra at this point. I'm a big dude. You know what I mean? I love to eat. I could have had my biggest meal. I've just ate. I'm still gonna be hungry. I'm still gonna be cooking. There's always gonna be something that's going on with me. It might seem like I'm kind of dying off, but if I'm dying off and you don't see me on your timeline, it's because I got something big coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
I'm super excited for it, man. I just want to say, obviously that I appreciate you so much for being on this podcast, taking time out of your day and letting me kind of highlight you and just letting the community get to know you more. Frostii and me, our Twitters are down below right underneath our faces. In the description is all of his links. Go check him out whenever this comes out and stuff. Frostii, is there anything else that you would like to say before we end off here?
Man, just believe in yourself, man. You guys may think, I can't do this. I'm not meant to be a creator. I'm not meant to do this. Times are going to get hard before they get better. But if you don't have faith in yourself, who else is going to have faith in you? You know what I mean? So just believe in yourself a little bit. Just a little bit of faith in yourself goes a long way.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on. Anybody that's watching, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. As always, this is episode 6 of Feeds Mindset. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you all in the next video. My name is Feeds, and I'm out, guys.
Peace out, guys.